Mostly we are trying to see the definition of Eucharistic extraordinary minister for Holy Communion. And we saw the explanation concerning the terms. Mostly you are an extraordinary minister, not it differs from ordinary minister. Extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. So the term also differs from Eucharist. It's not, you are not extraordinary minister of Eucharist, but you are extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. So these are the two terms that we tried to clarify, which are the four vocations that you are called to distribute Holy Communion. And in the liturgy of Eucharist, there is a communion rite, and there you have a special role to perform. So this is how we tried to understand the definition of extraordinary minister of Holy Communion yesterday. And we continue today in the same line. Mainly this time we try to see the qualifications of extraordinary minister. What are the qualifications of extraordinary minister of Holy Communion? One is, it is important that those individuals selected to serve as extraordinary ministers are chosen carefully. Normally, I told you, it is done by each diocese, and the diocese has this particular norms who has to be selected for distribution of Holy Communion. And this selection is done, carried out very carefully, and it has to be done very carefully, because we have seen yesterday that this is a privileged position, and you have an honor in distributing Holy Communion. So it is a privilege, it is an honor. Therefore, this particular ministers, extraordinary ministers, have to be chosen very carefully. We need to remember what Pope Paul VI talks about, the qualifications of extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. In EMHC Caritatis, we have already seen a portion of instruction given in this particular document in the definition of extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. EMHC Caritatis means, in English, immense love. So there is an instruction given to you where it describes the qualification of extraordinary minister of Holy Communion in this manner, following manner. The faithful who are special ministers of communion must be persons whose good qualities of Christian life, faith, and morals recommend them. Today I had a class for catechism teachers who have newly joined catechism teachers. And that also is a kind of vocation, a call. And they also need to have a certain qualities. And same thing applies here. Who are to be selected or chosen to be the extraordinary minister of Holy Communion? The faithful who are special ministers of Holy Communion must be persons whose good qualities of Christian life, faith, and morals recommend them. So your Christian life has to be a model life, and your faith has to be a model faith, and your moral life also is a model moral life. You see, Catechism of the Catholic Church we have. Catechism of the Catholic Church has 4 pillars. It is divided into 4 parts, and each part is very much applicable to our Christian life. The first part talks about our faith. Faith, it talks about the credo, I believe. And the second part talks about the celebration. Celebration, normally the faith is celebrated in sacraments. And the third part talks about the life, Christian life. That is commandments, 10 commandments. And finally, the fourth part of CCC, the Catechism of the Catholic Church, talks about prayer. And these 4 are applicable to a Christian, a model faithful. And this is applicable to the extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. Your faith life must be a model life, and your celebration life, the Christian celebration, you must be regular in participating Holy Eucharist. And also thirdly, your life, your moral life, following of the commandments have to be very intact. And then finally, the prayer. The prayer life also must be a model prayer life. So what CCC recommends, or the 4 pillars of Christian life, is applicable to everyone, especially those who are being selected or going to be extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion. In the same document, EMHC Caritatis, Pope Paul VI continues to describe the qualities of extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion. Let them strive to be worthy of this great office. Let them strive to be worthy of this great office. Foster their own devotion to the Eucharist. That's the main reason before entering into the definition, qualities, etc. of extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. We talked about the importance of Holy Eucharist. So this is what Pope Paul VI in his instruction EMHC Caritatis tells. Foster their own devotion to the Holy Eucharist and show an example to the rest of the faithful. So we have seen your faith life must be an example. Your celebration, faith celebration must be an example, especially the celebration of the Eucharist. So foster your own devotion to the, then your moral life must be an example. Your prayer life must be an example. So let them strive to be worthy of this great office. It is an honorable office. Foster their own devotion to the Eucharist and show an example to the rest of the faithful by their own devotion and reverence toward the most august sacrament of the altar. So, from this particular piece of information given by Pope Paul VI, you know the qualities of an extraordinary minister of Holy Communion in nutshell, in a concise form. In short, be an example in every form of life. And he continues to tell, no one is to be chosen whose appointment the faithful might find disturbing. This is very important. So, in your selection of a candidate, no one must be chosen whose presence at the altar or distribution of Holy Communion becomes a disturbing factor. So, in the seminary first year, we were 34, and finally, only 9 were ordained. So, many will be part of the formation, but a few will be ordained or chosen. And I think you are carefully chosen, and the selection of candidates who are attending, some are already extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion, some are going to be, and that selection is properly done. So no one is to be chosen whose appointment the faithful might find disturbing. So this is an important aspect which Pope Paul VI in his instruction on immense caritatis describes on the qualities of extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. Then every diocese has given some concrete expressions of these norms. Therefore, wherever you are working, you belong to a particular diocese. Even though you are hailing from India, you are settled abroad, and already some who were interacting after my lecture. No, I know that they are part of a certain, belonging to certain dioceses and already performing this particular honorable position. Therefore, everyone who is following this class, I understand, are a part of a diocese. Therefore, each diocese has concrete norms basing on what Pope Paul VI has concretely said, clearly said in Immense Caritatis. So basing on that, they have come out with certain regulations. And here I speak about certain regulations here. It differs, okay, varies from diocese to diocese. An extraordinary minister, if married, be married within the church. No civil marriage is acceptable. And extraordinary minister of Holy Communion, if she or he is married, must be married within the church. That is very important. Okay, now in India, in my diocese also, many are marrying civilly. In the civil marriage contract is there. But when everything is when everything is set right, they come to the church and have the blessing. So church marriage, in the church, the marriage is blessed. Then they become part of the church and they engage in all the activities. So therefore, marriage must be blessed in the church. They must have received the sacrament of confirmation. That is important. So, only holy reception of Holy Communion is not sufficient for a extraordinary minister of Holy Communion, but the reception of confirmation, sacrament of confirmation is a must. Then most of the dioceses, when I browsed through the regulations put forward by dioceses, I saw most of them talk about 18 years of age. As I shared with you yesterday, some diocese has 25 years as a age limit to become an extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. So you check with your diocese regulations. Each diocese has its own norms and regulations about the age limit of making a or installing a extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. And if a person is chosen for this particular honorable position, must have received the certification of their pastor. So you belong to a parish. Then your pastor has to certify that you are properly qualified and trained for this particular honorable position. So, very clear, married in the church, or the marriage is blessed in the church, you have received a sacrament of confirmation, you are at least 18 years of age. Please check with your diocese whether the age limit is higher or lower. Some dioceses may be 16, I don't know. But most of the dioceses 18. Then some dioceses have 25. Check with the diocese. Then fourthly, your parish priest must certify that you have undergone this particular training, and therefore you are eligible. And for those who distribute communion to the homebound, have completed the training. So both, I think the same training, I suppose. There are certain actions that have to be carried out by the people who are going with communion to the sick homebound. So see that you have been certified by your pastor that you have undergone proper training and you are qualified. Then only your bishop, a particular bishop, can install you. It is not sufficient way of life of a extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. So far we have seen some qualifications to serve as an extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. Now, way of life of an extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. It is not sufficient for an individual to demonstrate an exemplary Catholic life before becoming an extraordinary minister. We have seen in the qualifications lex credendi, that the law of faith. Anyway, I talk in English, that our faith expression must be a model. Our faith celebration must be a model celebration. Our life, Christian life must be a model, and prayer life also model. It's not only sufficient that you exemplify Catholic life before becoming an extraordinary minister. It is also important that you cultivate those virtues after you have been chosen for that position of service to the church. So, only before being chosen, you should not, you were leading an exemplary life. But even after you are installed, that virtue, those virtues that you have imbibed or you were demonstrating in your life must be carried out. So you should not stop living a good faith life, living a good sacramental life, living a good moral life, living a good prayer life. It has to continue. It has to continue even after being chosen for this particular position of service. Again, a bare minimum below which an individual should disqualify oneself would consist in anything that would prevent him or her from receiving Holy Communion. What are those? Grave sin. There are minor and major sins. Grave sins normally linked to the commandments. Do not commit adultery, do not commit murder, and honor your parents. All such things are our relationship with people. So grave sin, that will prevent you from receiving Holy Communion. That disqualifies you from distributing Holy Communion. So this is a bare minimum. Failure to attend Sunday Mass. Failure to attend Sunday Mass. Or a choice not to maintain communion with the teaching and life of the church. So you have, maybe after becoming an extraordinary minister of Holy Communion, you have made a choice not to remain in communion with the church, with the teachings. Then it prevents you from receiving Holy Communion. At the same time, it prevents you from distributing Holy Communion. An interesting case was there in a parish. A catechism teacher was there, very good teacher. The students like him very much, but he doesn't attend the Holy Mass. He doesn't come for Sunday Mass, or he doesn't come to the church for celebration. He comes only to teach catechism. And the priest found very difficult to disqualify him, because there were a lot of opposition from his family members and so on. You see, his life celebration, faith celebration doesn't correspond to what he teaches. So this is a very good example. Here also, whatever prevents you from receiving Holy Communion is equally preventing you from distributing Holy Communion. Can be a grave sin. It can be a failure to attend Holy Mass. It can be your decision not to have communion with the teachings of the church, life and teachings of the church. Now, let me put positively, even though we commit grave sin, even though we do not attend Holy Mass on Sunday, for a particular period of time, I have been away from the church, from the communion and life of the church. But you can come back. How do we come back? If you have gone away from the church, from its communion and teaching, by once again renewing your faith in front of the altar, or in front of the altar, at the same time in front of the parish priest, reciting the credo, the creed, I believe, you are again coming back to the communion of the church. And there is a confession. Positively put, however, an extraordinary minister should seek, like all Christians, to cultivate holiness through frequent confession. If you have committed minor or major sins, not come to the church for Sunday Mass, through confession, you can receive God's mercy. And again, you are eligible to receive Holy Communion. You are eligible to distribute Holy Communion as well. So frequent confession must be there. And you may ask how frequent. I may suggest once in 2 weeks, and also once in a month. That is anyway at a time when you feel that you need to go for confession, make confession. I know people here very faithful in making confession every week. So they make it a point that every week they make a confession. So frequent confession is necessary. Then personal prayer. Personal prayer, it is not the family prayer that you have. It's not only the prayer that you have here in your online prayer, but personal prayer. Spend some time quietly in the room with the Bible, and also in front of the Blessed Sacrament, especially. That is shows that even the people also seeing this understand that you are an extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. Personal prayer before the Blessed Sacrament, and attendance at daily Mass if possible. So you know that the Roman liturgy is Sunday liturgy is in 3 cycles: A cycle, B cycle, C cycle. And this Sunday it is a C cycle. This year is a C cycle going on. And a daily Mass liturgy is 2 years, year 1 and year 2. So if you attend the Holy Mass daily for 2 years continuously, daily Mass, Sunday liturgy is a different daily Mass, then the whole Bible, the whole salvation history that you will know. This time it is what runs is from the book of Genesis, and today we had the burial of Jacob and also the last days of Joseph. So this is how the daily Mass liturgy readings are grouped or structured. If you continuously participate for daily Mass 2 years, then you get the whole salvation history, how it originated and how it continues. Okay, so your attendance at daily Mass, if possible, is recommended. Then you should seek to have good knowledge and appreciation for the thought and beliefs of the church. And so many things are happening inside the church. And you know what outsiders are telling? In the Catholic Church, an outside body is not needed to discriminate or what you call to bring a bad news for the Catholic Church. The bad news is brought into the Catholic Church by the members themselves. So a good knowledge and appreciation for the thought and belief of the church is necessary. After being installed as extraordinary minister of Holy Communion, we must appreciate whatever happens in the church. Criticism, constructive criticism is welcome, but a destructive criticism should not be. That's what is spoiling the church now. Those who are spoiling the church are within the church. No outsiders are spoiling the church. Okay, especially through the study of scripture and church teaching. Always try to undergo ongoing training. You had some training in theology and Bible, but go through the notes that you have or rewind what you have learned so far, and that is so necessary. Now the latest document of Pope Francis is the Lex it nos, he loved us, and that is concerning the Sacred Heart of love of Sacred Heart of Jesus. So update yourself with the teachings of the Church. Second Vatican Council, we are celebrating the 60th anniversary of Second Vatican Council, and there are 4 major documents which we need to learn, update about liturgy, about the church in the modern world, about the Word of God, and also about Lumen Gentium. Okay, so there are four major documents which we need to study and update ourselves. So such things are part of your ongoing formation. If an extraordinary minister finds it difficult to live a life appropriate to his or her function, he or she might recuse himself or herself for a time from the distribution of Holy Communion. So you find difficult to live a life appropriate to the function that you have taken. It is an honorable position, a privileged position. Then if you find that you are not leading a life appropriate to this, then you yourself go away. Keep yourself away from this, away from exercising this function. Or if necessary, a pastor might ask him or her to continue his or her service. Then after a long time, if the pastor asks him not to continue, just got confused. So if you think that you are not worthy of this position, then you keep yourself away from distributing. Or if the pastor notices that a particular extraordinary minister for Holy Communion is not leading an appropriate life, he will ask you not to continue in this position. So I think it is clear for you. Now, after this commissioning, you will be commissioned as extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion. Extraordinary ministers serve the church in public capacity. For what are you commissioned? Your commissioning is to exercise a public function. Maybe homebound or sick, it is a private, but actually you are distributing. I told you the four occasions that extraordinary minister of Holy Communion will be called. So it is a public exercise. Hence, it is necessary that an individual be certified and commissioned before beginning service as an extraordinary minister. This is necessary. I think some of you are already extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion. Maybe you are commissioned for a period of time, and that is always being renewed. Maybe, I don't know. Then now here you are going to be commissioned, and and you will be certified also. So this also happens. Then while instructed acolytes, usually seminarians, I told you, and when preparing for a diaconate, they become extraordinary ministers by virtue of their institution. In certain dioceses, after the call of Pope Francis, late Pope Francis, many have started training lectors. Lectors also is a service, a public service in the church. Some will be given training and they will be installed as lectors, and officially they only will read the first reading, the psalm, second reading in the church. So here, so in the seminary, I received this particular service called lector. I also received, before diaconate, I received also the service called acolyte, and also the people being trained as permanent deacons, married deacons. They also have this ministry given as lector and acolyte. So they have, by virtue of their institution, they are extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion. Other individuals require a specific commissioning. So you need to have a specific commissioning. Then only you can exercise this particular ministry. Commissioning for an extended period, in most cases, extraordinary ministers are certified for an extended period up to 3 years. And this is done by the bishop of the respective diocese upon request by the pastor of the parish. And again, after this expiry of this commissioning, that year, 3 years, they have to be again commissioned. So this is what happens in most of the parishes. The pastor is responsible for selecting the individuals designated to serve and for verifying that they are in good standing in the church, not in an invalid marriage or a situation of cohabitation, not an ex-priest, etc. This has to be seen by the parish priest. And that their selection would not scandalize the faithful. We have seen already about the qualifications. So these are the people who are chosen carefully. Then a form is supplied to aid in this process. You will be given a form. After the individuals have been selected and trained, the pastor then submits a list to the chancellor's office. In your case, I don't know how it is. Normally, this is what done in each diocese. So a form is supplied and then that is duly filled by the pastor. So I have 3 candidates or 3 who are qualified, undergone training, and they are eligible to become extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. So that list will be submitted to the chancellor's office. Then they receive their certification. When they receive their certification, they are able to begin functioning as extraordinary ministers until their certification expires. I told we have a ID card given here. When the ID card expires, your function also expires. It is advisable that once the commission is granted, that they receive it through the order for the commissioning of extraordinary minister. In some cases, a sufficient number of commissioned extraordinary ministers may be unavailable. In this case, if need requires, the priest presiding at the liturgy can commission extraordinary ministers for a single occasion. I think yesterday somebody asked this question. Following the right given in the Roman Missal, if you take the Roman Missal, there is an right in Numbers 160, 161 and 162. And just a few words about the dress code, then we will conclude. Extraordinary ministers should dress in a way that is dignified and shows respect for the Blessed Sacrament and the function they are carrying out. Clothes should be clean and neat and reflect the importance of the Blessed Sacrament, generally by being more formal. So that is normally done. And I think in the Gulf countries, they have another gown to be given to be worn. I think it differs from countries to countries. Any clothing that exposes the legs, upper arms, the other inappropriate parts of the anatomy should not be worn, nor should any clothing bearing prominent logos or slogans, they are not also allowed. Clothing should not be distracting. The focus of the communicant should be on the Blessed Sacrament, not on the person or his or her dress. Okay, this is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you.